Hello and welcome back to Lakes and Storms. My name is Sam. This is Josh, and today we're going to be talking about the Celtics offseason. This is going to be the first in a series of a few videos where we talk about um, just a few teams that we agreed on had the most interesting roster changes and possible changes coming into next year. So yeah, we're going to start off with the Celtics, and Josh will talk to us about the moves that they made.
Yeah, so starting first, June 22nd, 2023, Boston Celtics, Washington Wizards, and Memphis Grizzlies agreed a three-team trade, sending KP to the Celtics, Mark Smart to the Grizz, and Tyus Jones, and a bunch of other, draft picks, bag of chips to Wizards. So we'll get into that eventually. And then July 5th, three-team sign and trade with Boston, San Antonio, and Dallas. Mavs signed restricted free agent Grant Williams to a 4-year, $53 million contract. San Antonio gets Reggie Bullock, and then Boston was able to get a couple second-round picks. And then July 8th, 2023, Boston extends Kristaps Porzingis on a $60 million 2-year deal, so they have him signed for $96 million through 25-26 season. So I'll throw it back to you, Sammy. First, why don't we start with the loss of Marcus Smart, which me and you both agree on is a huge loss.
Huge loss. I think the whole NBA world is caught off guard by this move. I mean, yeah, this really hurts the Celtics on both ends of the floor. He was someone that could get clowned for his offensive game here and there, but he was a connector. He's the heart and soul on not just the defense, but he's setting up that offense. He's getting everybody going. He's your true point guard. He's going to be great in Memphis. They're definitely going to miss that steady player at the one next year, as we see more responsibility shift to JT and even probably Jaylen Brown a little bit. But yeah, I think so. It's going to be Derek White starting over him, I would assume, with Malcolm Brogdon still coming off the bench. But yeah, I
I
mean the
mean, yeah,
defense. Yeah,
you,
go ahead.
you just look at their depth chart with Derek White, Payne Pritchard, Malcolm Brogdon. You know the part that sucks if you think back to like when this trade actually went down. Remember a day before or like a few hours before when it was supposed to be Brogdon going to the Clippers and everyone was like, "Oh,
That's
this
what
is
makes
so
it so
great."
much worse. Yeah,
That yeah, that's the part that makes it a really killer. You lose like your most tenured player, the leader of the locker room, and the question like you kind of already answered, who is going to step up next? Do you think it's Derek White? I think it could be possibly Brogdon, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pritchard had a much bigger role going into next year. And I mean, he kind of has to. They have three point guards. Brogdon suffers terrible injuries like left and right. Derek White, he's not Chris Paul out there. He's not going to dice up the other defense. And then
right.
Pritchard's a bench shooter, so
Mm-hmm.
it sucks. Like as much as it hurts for Boston to lose Smart, I'm think they must be over the moon with getting KP and finally figuring out that 5-out offense that they're gonna have with Horford. That's the thing. So whoever starts at point, and then Jaylen at the 2, Tatum at the 3, Horford at the 4, and Kristaps at the 5. I mean, tell me that team's not
They're
gonna be a
massive.
top 4 seed
They
in the
are
East. Yeah,
huge. Yeah.
they're huge and they're interesting defensively. Maybe not, they're not going to switch as much, but without a Marcus, of course. But I think that particular lineup is going to be deadly, and especially KP and Time Lord, like the two of them roaming around the rim. I just think that's going to be so much fun to watch.
Do you think the two of those guys are going to share the floor that much?
Well, I mean, that's isn't that kind of how the Boston thing? You throw Time Lord in at the when he's healthy, you throw him in at the dunker spot and leave Horford out there and just let him
Well,
float out
yeah,
to the three.
but Horford and KP are very different players. I understand KP can stretch as well. Um, but yeah, I know. I don't know. I hadn't really thought of that until you just brought it up now. But I think, I mean, they're going to share the floor together at some points, but I don't
Of
think
course,
it's,
yeah.
I think it might be something where they try to stagger that more. So they just have that like lengthy like rim protector at all times because you're not going to want Al Horford doing that. And so, yeah, I think they'll
Paul's
share a
getting
little bit of
older,
time,
yeah.
but yeah. Um,
Yeah, it's just I think KP is gonna bring a lot, not only defensively but offensively. I know for the past two
More
years he's
so
played
offensively, yeah.
yeah, for the past 2 years he's played in basketball hell in Washington, but Last year, he put up 23.2 points, 8.4 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, 38.5 from three on 5.5 attempts, 49 from the field, and 65 games played. I just think what he's going to be able to do in the pick and pop, floating out to the three, creating in the mid range, like backing down the like fourth big that's on the bench, on the
Hmm.
floor in the random minutes in the second quarter. I think it's gonna be really really interesting what they're gonna do. And I am now I brought it up, I am really thinking about him and Rob on the offense. I think that could be actually be really fun. I mean, Robert Williams has gravity, but not the gravity like Steph Curry has gravity. He's gravity around the rim. So I
Hmm.
just think that what he'll be able to draw in will create so much space for KP. And of course, the two J's are killers. They're insane. So I'm really, really high on this trade, and I know you are too, but you probably see the Smart loss as more of a loss than I do, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's really easy to look at this move and be like, oh yeah, the Celtics are a lot better now. Like look at the size of their lineup and stuff. But I think we are gonna realize just how important Marcus Smart was for that team. And I think it's gonna be a little bit of a rough start for their offense. I think their defense is gonna recover and be around the same where it was. Like the scheme is gonna be different with the loss of Marcus Smart and adding KP. They're very different players, but I think the offense is gonna struggle, and the thing I don't like about that is that is where their issues have been in the postseason is in the half court.
Yeah,
So yeah, like I still think they're gonna be top four, um, but I don't know if their ceiling is what it was, which sounds almost kind of crazy as it's coming out of my mouth. Uh, but Marcus Smart did a lot for that team. So we'll see about that.
Jordan
Um,
Walsh is interesting too. The 38th pick in the second round, their only draft pick this year. I
yeah, I
mean,
mean,
I
he's a promising guy, and anytime you get a guy like that out of the second round is great. He's a competitor. He played up in the tournament. He was really important to Arkansas's run. So I think we'll get a little run from him to start the season, and I think they will be looking for another guard at the end of their bench, and depending on how he plays, it could be him, or if I would not
yeah,
be surprised to just see him developing,
the
kind of
thing
not
I've
really
been
getting
telling
much
you for
minutes.
for like the past week, I wouldn't be surprised 20 games in they trade for a Jones brother. They trade for just a random point guard just
A who
just to
brother?
help orchestrate one of the Jones brothers, Trey Jones, Tyus Jones, one of
They're
them.
brothers?
Yeah, aren't they?
I never knew that. I didn't think so.
Isn't Trey the younger brother?
Oh,
Right?
I never knew
I'm
that.
pretty
That's
sure.
cool. Um,
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I could be way off, but I'm
right.
like 70% sure. But the
So,
point is though, I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up trading for some depth at the point guard because that is their biggest weakness right now.
but
The
then who are they
defense,
giving up? I don't think they have a lot of assets unless it's just picks.
yeah,
So, like maybe they're
second
looking
round.
at
They
a
got
bottom feeder team.
they got a
Um,
couple seconds in the trade with the Mavs
right.
trading away. Speaking of the trade with the Mavs, that is kind of a low key insane deal. I mean, you take Grant Williams when they go to the finals, he's one of their like top seven most important players. He's out there, he's looking like a 6'7" like big that can just kind of do it all. And then
So
fast forward to
strong.
like
Yeah.
yeah, fast forward to last year, new coach, new everything. He's getting DNPs, he's getting 10 minutes a game. He goes
Yeah.
into restricted free agency and they take an asset that like they don't really want and they flip it for a couple picks. I thought that was really, really good.
Yeah. I kind of disagree with like their decisions where it's like why there were certain points early in the playoffs he started getting more like run uh like later in those last series, but yeah, I was like, where is Grant Williams?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think it would have been cool to bring him back, but then you're not going to match that offer sheet from the Mavs, and I think that's a great pick for the Mavs, but
I think Missoula just wasn't that high on him, you know? He
Right.
wasn't.
So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a good move for them, considering that's not who they wanted to go forward, even though I do think that he fits the team well. Um,
I agree. I like what he brings, but as we'll get into in another video, I'm excited for what he'll bring to Dallas for 53
right,
for
yeah.
4 years. That's not a bad contract at all. Are
Hmm.
you a little worried about this Jaylen Brown extension that, we're like what 2 weeks into free agency and still no news? I mean, that's a
Uh,
little troublesome.
I don't think so because if he was gonna get moved, then like why are they waiting until the end of free agency when everyone has already filled their cap space? So
That's
I
true.
think I don't know why it didn't get signed right away, but I'm still expecting this deal to be signed. Probably like before training camp at some point.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Just I'm curious. I'm curious if Portland's gonna swing trade Dame for Jaylen Brown, and that could be interesting.
That would
I
be
don't think it's gonna
crazy.
happen.
I don't think
Yeah, I
that
don't
would
think it's gonna
happen.
happen. But I'm just, the gears are grinding right now.
Right.
I'm
Kind of
yeah,
what we set forward right now, what we're talking about. Like you would think, oh, that deal makes sense, but no, I think they're going to stay loyal to him. Um, that
probably.
would
It's
be the
just
ultimate curveball of like the offseason, though. If
yeah,
Dame for Jaylen Brown, that would be absolutely nuts.
yeah. It's just that old where there's smoke, where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm curious why. I get it. It's all about leverage. He's trying to get the most money. It's gonna take time, but this is supposed to be your guy, right? I mean, if this was my guy, he didn't have like the most amazing postseason, but if this was my guy, I would have signed him yesterday. So I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah, maybe there's something brewing that we're yet to find out. Um, yeah, overall, I think let's just go ceiling and floor. In terms of seating, like I don't think they'll be at the heights that they were last year. Like I think it's not going to be as great of a start. So I think they're probably like a 3 seed. They could be a 2 seed. Like I'm not ruling that out, but
You
yeah,
don't think they could be a potential 1 seed? And like you don't see a way it's possible? Because like who's the teams? It's Milwaukee, Miami,
Milwaukee,
Philly.
Miami, not Philly. I guess you're right. They're definitely going to be top three then. I guess now that we kind of spell it out, the rest of the players in the Eastern Conference,
Because I think
unless
at
like
their
Cleveland takes
lowest,
a big jump because Cleveland kind of had a
yeah,
good
yeah,
offseason
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
All
I
their
think
young
at
guys
their
are older.
worst, they're like fourth in the East, and I
Yeah,
think at their
I
best, like
think
you can only get to one, of course.
right.
So
Yeah, like we are both comfortable saying they're gonna have home court
yeah, yeah.
at the
Because
start of the first round.
I think the East is getting younger, and I think it's gotten a lot of weaker, while the West has gotten a lot stronger. So I think there's
Right.
definitely a path for them to lose in the second round against Miami.
Yeah, I agree. Probably it would be the conference finals though, because that's what it's been every
I cannot
fucking year.
myself.
Yeah.
Um,
All
but
right.
yeah, is there anything else you want to say, or I
Uh
think
no, I think we covered it all.
yeah.
Let us know what you guys think about their off season. If there's any Celtics fans, let us know what we got wrong. And we'll be back with another video soon. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.